Welcome to How Preschool Teachers Do It.
This is Alison Kentos. I am an early childhood educator.
And this is Cindy Tarabush. I am an early childhood consultant.
This podcast is for parents and early childhood professionals.
Let our experience and research-based knowledge become your guide.
Welcome back, our preschool peeps.
Hi, peeps.
It is the end of October, and although the weather has become somewhat unpredictable around the world with global warming, we can pretty much count on some kind of winter is coming. I don't know what kind, but some kind of winter is going to arrive.
Yes.
And in many early childhood programs, winter signals the end of children going outside for a while, which I have to tell you, anybody who's worked in a classroom with multiple children or any program, family childcare, anywhere with multiple children knows these children need to be able to get outside and move around. And so winter, while at first, if you have a gym and you go there or doing things in the classroom or in a hallway or somewhere, well, at first that's all novel. That wears off pretty quickly. And we all start looking at each other saying, I wish I could take these children outside.
Yes.
Fresh air is really good for them, right? Fresh air and being outside in nature actually resets the brain. It relaxes children. It decreases their stress level. It helps them expend energy. There's so many reasons why it's good to be outside. And yet, many early childhood programs just start to go, weather. We're not going
yes,
outside.
Let's blame the weather. But I will tell you, most of the time it's not the weather, it's the teacher. Okay? Because I will take my kids outside no matter what, unless it's like downpouring. And even sometimes then I'll just tell the parents, like, bring in your stuff. We're going outside, because I need it. I need to be outside. That's fine. But there was some teachers who were like, it's just a little bit too cold out today, when really it was like 50 degrees. It's just a little bit too cold. I'm not going to go outside.
It could be a program thing, though, Allison.
It could be too.
Some programs are like, nope, we don't go outside in this weather, this weather, this weather, this weather, this weather, this weather.
Why?
And
Why?
I think my experience with licensing is that they have statements in licensing manuals like weather permitting or if the weather does not permit, but they don't really clearly always define it. I know of some states where the licensing manual will say that the children should not go outside in under a certain temperature, under 32 degrees, for example.
Yes.
But that's not universal. So wherever you're listening from, that might not be the case where you are.
Yeah. I feel like it should be.
But,
right?
I question that too. I question that too.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's universal. But I question that because we have coats, hopefully, and gloves and hats. And I'm not saying to spend a lot of time outside. You can go outside for just a few minutes even to experience the weather.
And I think that's a key word right there. Experience the weather. Because to me, the only way to learn about different types of weather is to be in it. Right. And I'm not saying let's go outside for an hour or a half hour. I'm saying let's put our snow stuff on. We're going to go around. We're going to look at the snow. We're going to feel the snow. We are going to smell the snow. We are going to smell the rain, whatever it is. And then we'll go back inside. It doesn't have to be your typical half hour, 45 minutes outside if it's too cold. But the only way to learn about that stuff is to actually experience it.
I think, and people may say, oh, they experience it on their way into school. That's true. They experience it when they're outside there.
Yeah.
But there's something about experiencing it in that group of people that you go to an early childhood program with. And even, I remember that there were times when we could be putting on coats and hats and gloves. And I remember as a teacher thinking, it's taking us more time to bundle up than we will spend outside because it's windy or it's cold, right?
Yes.
It's taking us more time to do this. And I think that that's where some people get like, this isn't worth it. And in a way, I understand. I remember it being like, ugh, the amount of time this is taking. But also there's great value in just having children go and breathe in that fresh air for a couple minutes, if at all possible, if it's within your licensing regulations. And also rain, that's another one that even if it's a light rain, people tend to not. I'm not saying go out there in thunderstorms and torrential rain.
Yeah.
No.
But I go out in the light rain.
A drizzle or just a little bit
of rain. So much fun.
Yeah.
It is so much fun. Yeah. The kids find it so exciting. And the only way to learn about rain and how it falls is to be in it, But like, I also noticed that when you go outside in the rain, their play changes, because suddenly it's not just about like running around on the playground. It's about like, what can we do with this water? Or sometimes it is like, let's go on the slide when it's a little bit wet. How does that change the slide? Like, as long as you're doing things safely, I say go for it. Why not be out there when it's drizzling?
I think it would be a worthwhile thing for early childhood programs to ask for donations of rain boots, umbrellas, that sort of thing, so that we're not dependent on families. When we say to families, we're a program where we go out if it's a light rain, please send in rain boots and umbrella. Now I'm putting a financial burden on families.
Right.
Instead, if we sought donations, you can seek donations for that sort of thing. You can make wish lists. There are certain websites where you can wish things for your class. If we could get some sort of, stock of things that would help children to go outside and experience a little rain and have the adults feel comfortable, that would be so great. Though I can imagine trying to put up and then take down 15 children's umbrellas would be a thing. But I think that it would be so beneficial to them if we did it even every now and then. I'm not even saying every time. Every now and then.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I've worked with programs that take the children out in the snow. It has snowed, the snow is over, and they make sure that they have a donation of heavy coats and gloves and hats in case any child needs them. They let the families know that we go out in the snow. If you have the gloves, the hats, the boots that you
please send them in.
Your child's bag or cubby or whatever you have. And so they were able to, between what they were able to get on their own through donations and what families sent in. And, another way to get really great donations is to say to families of the children who are on the older side, if your child has outgrown their gloves, their boots, their hats, please send the old ones in for the younger children. So you can kind of source some of it that way, right? Through outgrown clothing. I remember I had somebody in a program one time, a parent who was like, I have all of these boy clothes and now I have a girl. And we were like, send them in. We'll take them if you don't need them, because we'll use them when we go outside and all, and to change children if they need it. So, if we get these donations and then so these programs that I've worked with, they believe in taking children out in the snow. And again, not for an extended, we're going to get frostbite period of time. It was a short period of time where the children got to just be out there in the snow. And folks, it was so joyous. I can't even tell you the joy emanating from these children. So much so that the adults who had just spent, I don't know how long getting them bundled up, didn't regret it, right? They had no regrets because there was so many wonderful things happening out in the snow. And it had been so much fun. And by the way, it takes a lot of energy to be that excited, and it wore the children out, and boy, did they sleep well at rest time.
Yes, that's true. That's true. You ever take the kids out while it's snowing? I'm not saying like a storm, but like flurries, because I've
been in programs that have done that. Yeah,
super exciting. Where they look outside, they're like, "Oh, it's snowing. We're not gonna be able to go out." And I'm like, "Nope, we're going." And it's so joyous. Like they're just so excited. The laughter is like so much laughter, so much smiling. It's just so cute, like it's so nice to see them like that.
I've certainly been with children when it started to snow and we were out there and sort of got caught in, or it started to rain And
Yeah.
I remember one time in particular when I was outside with young children, and it didn't start to rain yet. So when you're trying to get your playground time in before the
Yeah.
rain starts,
Yeah.
it's going to rain, but you're really hoping to get like that half hour in. So we used to do that. We didn't just sit around and say, well, it's going to rain. It looks like it's going to rain. We're not going to go. I used to be like, let's go as fast as we can, and maybe we can get some time out there. And I remember being outside with the children one time, and that smell you sometimes get before it rains, smell the rain. And we were just standing around together, and we were saying, do you smell that? Everybody smell. That means it's going to rain. I also taught the children something that my husband taught me, and I think he may have learned it from being a Boy Scout or something. But he taught me that leaves, nature knows when it's going to rain, and the leaves actually will turn and be kind of upside down to receive the rain. So the next time that they have predicted rain, go look. In fact, we were in the car recently with my son, who remembered this lesson from his father from when he was young, and it was cloudy out, and my son said, oh, it's definitely going to rain, Dad. Look, the leaves are upside down. And it did. It rained. The plants know.
The plants
know. The plants know. Yes. And so the leaves, you'll see the bottom side kind of turns up. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
As if receiving the rain, as if when you take your hands and turn them upward to receive something.
That is really cool. Yeah.
It is. Next time, look at the leaves when it's raining. You'll see they're different. Yeah. And I remember teaching this to the children, and we were looking at the leaves. And ever since that time, the children through the rest of the school year would be looking at the leaves to determine on a cloudy day, is it going to rain or is it not going to rain? We had so much fun with that, but it was because we got caught outside right before it rained. So it started to drizzle. It started to drizzle on us, and we were not dressed for it. We were not prepared. We didn't have any kind of boots on. We didn't have any umbrellas or hats or anything. So in that case, we took the children in, but we had been out there long enough that we were able to talk about, we smelled the rain. We saw the leaves. What did the rain feel like? The children were talking about that it was cold, and, and we were talking about why the rain might be cold. It was so great. It was such a great weather lesson.
Educational experience. Yeah. And something they'll always remember. Like your son remembers that lesson from your husband.
And he's
like
30, folks. He's 30. He's not a little kid.
This might be something that the children will remember too. Like I learned this from Miss Cindy when I was 4, that the leaves change, and
the leaves change. They turn.
It's exciting. Or like sometimes those 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds go home and teach their parents these things, and that's amazing.
And to say that my husband was proud of my son remembering that was an understatement. I'll tell you that. He was like, wow, you remember that? And my son was like, sure, I remember that. Because from then on, I always looked at the leaves to see if it was really going to rain or it was just going to stay cloudy.
Aww.
So I know. There's wonderful things when you're out in the snow and you can try and catch individual snowflakes as they're coming from the sky, right?
See the designs in them and see how they're different. Like that's really cool. See all the crystals. Yeah. Yeah. And you're not going to get that if you're inside. You're not going to
You're not going to get that even from bringing snow in. You're not going to see the individual flakes falling.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are schools like nature schools, nature centers that, and they focus on nature. They spend the majority of the year outside. And you would think, if you had never heard of this before, that they must be in a climate where they could do that. That's not the case.
Not true. Because
they spend the majority of the year outside, regardless of the climate that they're in, which is so interesting.
So cool.
They are, right? They are a nature school. They go out regardless of the climate. It doesn't matter to them. They have the means to make sure that everyone gets bundled up or whatever they need, and the children get to be outside. And it is so good for their brain development, for their body chemistry, for their mental health. It's good for everyone all around. It's good for every type of development that young children experience.
It's true.
So to answer the statement, whether it's cold or not, it's raining or not, it's snowing or not, The answer is yes. It's a good idea to have some mechanism for going outside, even if it's for a short period of time. It doesn't have to be the whole 30 minutes or
Right.
whatever. It can be a short period of time. I had teachers, when I was directing a program, I had teachers who used to come to me and say, I know it's cold out. Everybody's got clothes to be bundled up in. Can we just go step outside for maybe 5 to 10 minutes? And my answer was always yes, you can.
Yeah. As
Mhm.
long as everyone's protected. You know, I wouldn't send a child out there with no coat on or mittens on, but like as long as you're all protected, go for it.
Have a good time. Go out for your 5-10 minutes, use your judgment.
Yeah.
And if a family comes and says, you know, it's cold, I don't want my child going outside, the answer to that is every child who's healthy goes outside. If your child is not healthy enough to go outside, then your child's not healthy enough to be in school.
To be here. Yes. Yes.
You know, sometimes families will say, well, he's got a slight cold. I don't want him to go out. Well, if he's well enough to be here, he's well enough to go outside.
Go outside. Yes.
Also, you took him outside to bring him to school.
Yeah.
True. Yes, but like, they took him outside to bring him to school. So I'm saying he can go, the child can go outside. Yeah, but there were times where I had to say that to families, when I had to say, no, if your child is well enough to be here, then your child is well enough to go outside. If your child is not well enough to go outside, then your child's not well enough to be here.
Right. Because once they're there, they need to be able to participate in everything that the school is about, which is one of those things is going outside.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
All right. So I hope that as whatever weather we're getting this winter, last winter was very mild where we are. It was barely a winter, kind of not a winter, which by the way, I don't fully object to, but I know it has to do with global warming, which I kind of liked it, but you know, it's a global warming issue. And I know that that's not great for the planet or for us.
Right. Yeah.
But whatever winter brings, I hope that you will think, instead of thinking, when do we not go outside, that you'll think, when and how do we get outside?
How do we get outside? Yeah.
Flip that question a little. If you find really good places that will donate things, or you have a really good method for getting donations for inclement weather, what am I looking for? Inclement weather equipment for children, please let us know. Go to howpreschoolteachersdoit.com, send our contact form. Let us know where you've gotten things or what you've done so that we can share it with everybody.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay. All right, folks. We will catch you next time on the podcast.
Bye, peeps.